Hey everyone, Scott here to discuss the original The Lion King, featuring the voices of Matthew Broderick, James Earl Jones, Jeremy Irons, Moira Kelly, Nikita Sabella, Nathan Lane, Robert Geem, Rowan Atkinson, and Jonathan Taylor Thomas, and directed by Roger Allers and Rob Minkoff. Now, I must say, before I get into this review, I'm kind of really nervous about this remake because from what I saw in the trailers, it looks like it's a shot-for-shot remake. And I hope they do the songs, because what I heard in the commercials was like, they're not going to stick to it. Let's just see how that goes. Let's get into this movie. The opening sequence and song are beyond fantastic as they teach any kid at a young age about the circle of life, which is a great teaching lesson by Disney. And young Simba as a baby is so cute that when he sneezes, it's funny in a cute way, and is introduced to the circle of life, their future king, and the animation is great to look at. Mufasa and Zazu, voiced by James Earl Jones and Rowan Atkinson, confront Scar, voiced by Jeremy Irons. And I love the two lines by Scar. One of them is when he's talking to Zazu and he says, "Ooh, I quiver with fear." And the second one is when Mufasa says, "Is that a challenge? Jumper temper." And those were great. The way Jeremy Irons says it is beyond gold, which will make me nervous about the remake. And James Earl Jones has an iconic voice as Mufasa, and I can't even do his voices very well. And I'm glad that he's in the remake. And Rowan Atkinson as Zazu is brilliant casting, despite I'll always know him as Mr. Bean. Rafiki, voiced by Robert Geem, is the perfect voice for Rafiki, which also makes me nervous about the remake as well, because I don't know who's voicing Rafiki in this new movie. Mufasa is awakened by his cub Simba, as a cub, I already said that, voiced by Jonathan Taylor Thomas, who I haven't seen since the 90s, and his young Simba is magnificent. And Mufasa telling Simba about his own kingdom, that Simba will take over eventually. And I love the look of this movie. Absolutely love it. And the remake, I hope, will portray the scenes with the cinematography very well. But now, it looks great. Simba has a brief talk with Scar, and I love the lines, "You're so weird. You have no idea." And these scenes are acted very well with Jeremy Irons and Jonathan Taylor Thomas. And I love quoting these lines right off the bat. This movie's very quotable. Simba and Nala go to the elephant grave where the hyena's home is, and the song "I Just Can't Wait to Be King" is beautifully sung by these two kid actors. They get to the elephant grave without Zazu at first, until he pops and Simba, and by they I'm talking about Simba and Nala, and Simba says, "I laugh at the face of danger." Ha 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 ha! And bump into the hyenas, and one of them I thought was really funny and memorable, named Ed. Made me laugh super hard, and Mufasa got worried about Nala and Simba and come to the rescue and have a good talking with Simba about fear. And I love that scene, and I love the animation style of that scene. Scar's song, "Be Prepared," I love as a villain song, and the way Jeremy Irons sings it is pure gold, and his plan of killing Mufasa and Scar becoming king is made up, and it works, and Mufasa gets killed, which was very sad, and people are nervous about the death in the remake, because they'll probably end up crying like they did in this movie back in 1994. And it's a very effective scene. Scar tells Simba to run away and never return again, and the hyenas attack Simba was pretty intense in my mind. Simba lies in the desert, dehydrated, and almost dies until Timon, voiced by Nathan Lane, and Pumbaa, voiced by Ernie Sabello, save Simba's life and sing to him Hakuna Matata, which means no worries. And whoever came up with that song is a real genius. for making up a song meaning no worries. And can I just say, I love Timon and Pumbaa, especially Pumbaa's voice when we get to the end fight later on. Simba as a lion, voiced by Matthew Broderick. Now here's an actor I absolutely love in movies like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, for example. And I love his take on Simba, the king of the circle of life, after he takes his kingdom back from Scar, and I really like his arc. Pumbaa runs into Nala as a lioness, almost gets eaten by Nala until Simba fights and recognizes Nala, and Rafiki realizes it's Simba's time. And I love Pumbaa's line, "Your Majesty, how I grovel at your feet," and kisses his feet. I quote that and do that to my boss at work. It's kind of funny. It makes me laugh every single time. I think it's funny. Simba and Nala catch up, and she tells him he's the king, and he denies it and have an argument until Simba runs into Rafiki and takes him to a reflection of Mufasa and says, and let me just do this my best James Earl Jones voice, even though it's not going to be good. "Remember who you are." Sorry if it didn't sound clear enough, but whatever. And decides to go back to the Circle of Life, aka his own kingdom. And Rafiki, Nala, Timon, and Pumbaa fight with Simba, and I like the romance between Simba and Nala, and Timon and Pumbaa grow as characters. Simba faces off against Scar and his hyenas, and it all feels scary and intense for kids, but for me it was intense only, as an adult. But I love the line Pumbaa says, "They call me Mr. Pig," and he charges against the hyenas and attacks them. Again, a quotable line, and the Simba versus Scar fight was a good fight for the kingdom, until the hyenas eat Scar alive, and Simba takes rise as a king, and he and Nala have a cub that we're going to learn more about next week. And that was a good ending, and Elton John's version of "Can You Feel the Love Tonight" is a great song too, I must say. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 9.4 out of 10. This is another movie I grew up with as a kid, and it's a good Disney classic film, but I'm fearful for the remake because it's 30 minutes longer. But I really enjoyed this for the classic it is, and Disney did a brilliant job casting the right actors in the right roles. And because of that, it's so quotable. I love this movie. I hope it can live up with Toy Story and not get the Aladdin sequels that I'll see in the next few weeks. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining me, and next week I will be back with The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride. And until next time, it's the Circle of Life.